Badauga.
Did you do it on 4?
No, maybe.
You said 1, 2, 3, and then Badauga.
No, the entire Badauga is recorded, so I think I did it on.
Okay. I don't trust you since that one time you tried to switch things up. It sounded like the Badauga was you hitting the button. That was the sound effect.
On my recording here, there's a pause and then the Badauga, so I think I hit it on 3 and then said Badauga.
Why?
I don't know why. I just wanted to say Badauga to make sure my microphone was working, I think. Anyway. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Super Breakfast Friends Club, the show where we say Badauga.
Apparently.
It's our catchphrase.
Confuse it for a number. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about starting recordings with you. I don't trust you. For no reason. You've given me no reason to distrust you, but I don't trust you.
I think it's because of my general informality and my general fly by the seat of my pantsness, you know?
Yeah. That is a good reason not to trust you.
You are very used to me doing things in the spur of the moment, in an unplanned and unreasonable way.
I definitely thought you were going to say unpleasant way.
So it does make sense to me that, even though I do it the same way, I start these episodes the same way, I start these recordings the same way every time, it does make sense to me that you always expect me to do something different.
Since that's been my experience in every other facet of our time together.
Yeah, I'm not very good at and I do things slightly different each way. I don't know. I say 1, 2, 3 the same way each time, but this time I said Badauga afterwards.
Yeah.
So I think you're like a pet that needs a solid routine and doesn't like it when things are different. And I'm like a TV show that gets cancelled and moved around the schedule every week.
You just compared a dog and a TV show.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Play the theme song.
It's Medabots.
I had never heard of the series before today.
You never heard of it?
No.
Not even like the anime?
No.
Oh, see, I knew about the anime. I did not know it was based on a video game, though. If you had asked me before I looked it up, and it was Paul, I had already looked it up before, but Paul Draws Art, our friend of the show, Paul Draws Art, Pokemon A Day famous Reddit user, reminded us that Medabots is ample fertile ground for our show.
I appreciate it because I think I might be a fan now.
What did you think of the theme song?
I loved it.
It was really good, right?
It was really good.
Although I liked the theme song, I think was more into the animation that went with it. It was really good.
It was.
There was some really impressive camera moves in this opening. Like the shots where the camera pulls along a row of people and then moves down to one who's shorter. Oh, like the perspective was so impressive. It was. I'm being an animation nerd right now, but my God, that's so hard to do, and they did it so well. I really liked it.
What a dork.
So yeah, Medabots, or Medarot, as it's called in Japanese, which is a contraction of metal robot.
Okay.
I think rot makes more sense in Japanese as a contraction of robot, but I get why they changed it to bot for us.
Me too. I still can't get my head around rot.
Yeah. It released for the Game Boy in 1997, so pretty shortly after Pokemon.
Yeah, that checks out.
Like Pokemon, it released in two versions, Kabuto version and Kuwagata version, basically meaning Rhino Beetle version and Stag Beetle version.
Okay. Which version would you have chosen?
I don't know, because I think if I had come to it after the show, I probably would have got the Kabuto version, because that's the version with Medabot.
No, we're doing this picked on vibes only.
Picked on vibes only, I might have gone with the Kuwagata version.
I think I might have gone Stag Beetle.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want to see have you seen the covers? Are you looking at them?
No.
We saw Metabee from the Kabuto version. Do you want to see the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah, just based on vibes, this is I definitely would have gone with the Kuwagata version looking at the bot from it.
Okay, he is pretty cool. I might have gone for that one too.
Yeah. It looks like it's a gold and silver.
Right.
Kabuto is the gold one and the Kuwagata is the silver one.
I did get silver.
Here's the actual cover of the Kuwagata version.
It's a cover, all right. I'm having trouble processing my feelings regarding it.
It's very Japanese.
Yeah. It definitely looks like the box for a Gundam that you make, a model Gundam.
That's probably what they're going for. Because if you look at the logo, it's even got like the bits that you would have to cut off around the edge of the logo. You see that?
Yes, it does.
It actually does look like... that's definitely the vibe they're going for. The like, you've just bought a model kit.
You have to construct your own.
Yeah. Yeah, the game was developed by Natsume, who I think mostly did tie-in games for different TV shows, but they also made Pocky and Rocky and Wild Guns, which I've heard of. I haven't played either of them, but I've always loved the art in both of them. And it was published by Imagineer, who published a lot of the SimCity and Populous games in Japan. They also made Quest 64, and more recently they make the fitness boxing games for Switch.
Whoa, not fitness boxing!
Fitness boxing, the very only one. It was created by Rin Horuma, a manga artist. He pitched a Pokemon-style RPG about robots to Imagineer, and apparently he designed all the Medabots for the first 3 games, and made tie-in manga for most games in the series.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. In Japan, Medabots has 9 main series games.
How many of those crossed the pond?
1.
Oh no!
The only main series game that got released internationally is the 6th one for the Game Boy Advance. There are a ton of spin-offs in Japan as well, and 2 of those spin-offs got released internationally. One of them, Medabots AX, was actually never released in Japan. It's an international exclusive game.
Why?
It's basically a very heavily modified version of Medarot G. It was changed for us to make it more closely resemble the anime.
Okay.
So, it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
This is why, like, I heard of Medabots back when it came out in like the 2000s, back when we got it. It was like the end of high school for me, And I remember Medabot. I remember seeing Medabots. I remember seeing these characters. I knew of it, but I never saw it because I think it was only on cable and satellite, and we didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you'd asked me before, like a year ago, I would have said this was an anime. And if there were video games, I would have assumed they were based on the anime.
Right.
I didn't know that this was a video game series with like such a history.
A long and storied history and many games we'll never see.
9 games.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they're all on the Switch in Japan. There's like a classics collection.
Oh, that's cool.
But we just don't get them here.
No.
It's so frustrating.
I guess they thought international audiences wouldn't like fighting battle robots.
Well, I mean, I guess they tried it, and I guess the one that they tried releasing here didn't sell enough for them to think it was worth it.
Boo.
But yeah, I think this show turned me into a Medabots fan.
It's a fun show.
It's a good show. It's apparently mostly adapted from Medabot 2 for the Game Boy Color, which came out in 1999. Yeah, it's a pretty accurate adaptation of that game. Most of the characters come from that game. It was animated by B-Train, who were at the time a subsidiary of Production IG. I know Production IG. I'd never heard of B-Train, though.
I know the other day you and I were talking about the way anime looks and how it's too polished nowadays.
Yes.
This is like the sweet spot.
This was driving me crazy because this show looks just like something else that I've loved, but I cannot place it.
I don't know how to help you.
It might be the old, like, Digimon short films. We watched one of them, but I don't know. I tried to see if there was any, like, staff crossover between this and those. Like, it's not the same director, it's not the same studio, so I don't know. But it's reminding me of something.
You're just gonna have to rewatch every anime and find out.
If there's anyone out there who knows what it is, please help me, because the look and feel of this show is reminding me of something that I like, but I cannot place it. It's driving me crazy. Anyway, B-Train are known for noir. They made most of the Dot Hack anime, and they made anime adaptations of Ark the Lad and Wild Arms as well, which we'll probably look at someday unless we die first. This show has 52 episodes, which is a pretty common number of episodes for an anime. And we looked at the first episode, which is titled Move, Piece of Junk Medabots.
What a good title.
It's written by Ryota Yamaguchi, who also wrote for Ranma 1/2, Cowboy Bebop, Sailor Moon, Ghost Stories, and was the head writer of Digimon Data Squad.
Do you expect people to recognize any of those names, Mike? Like,
No,
come on.
I mean, I know Cowboy Bebop, Sailor Moon. What I'm saying is, this show has a real good pedigree. That's a good writer.
Yeah.
I don't know what Cowboy Bebop episodes this guy wrote, but there are no bad Cowboy Bebop episodes, so it doesn't really matter. This aired on TV Tokyo, which I feel like most of the best anime that we've watched aired on TV Tokyo.
Yeah, I feel like everything is on TV Tokyo.
And it aired on July 2nd, 1999, which was about 2 weeks before Medabot 2 came out. So this show was clearly made as promotional for the second game coming out.
Right.
Follows the second game's characters. This episode, I looked up all of the Medabots that appear in this episode, and most of the Medabots in this episode are from the first game, and there's only a couple from the second game, which makes sense to me as, like, promotion for a game that's about to come out.
Right.
So then they're like, here are a bunch of familiar ones, and also, ooh, look at this couple of new ones. Buy the game.
You should play the game and learn their secrets.
Yeah. Immediately we get a cold open explaining what a Medabot is. And, pretty good explanation. It's pretty easy to understand, I felt like.
Yeah.
So we have the basic metal frame, which is called a tin pet, and then there's an AI medal that gets inserted, which I guess gives it its personality. And then you attach different parts on top of the tin pet to give your Medabot different abilities.
So the metal is just like a SIM card and you can plug it into a totally new body and it'd be the same guy?
I wonder if they'll explore that idea. It does seem to be. Like, based on how it's explained, yeah, that's what I would assume. If you took Metabee's metal and put it in Brass, you would just have Metabee's personality in Brass's body, I assume.
That's what I think is happening.
Metabee and Brass are the two Medabots shown here as examples as well. Which is kind of, with what I know about the games, that's kind of surprising. You would think they would want to show Metabee and the cover one from the Kuwaga version.
We don't care about Kuwagamon. He died in that last episode.
I don't want to spoil things for you, Mel, but Kuwagamon's not dead, and we haven't seen the last of him.
But they breathed so many baby fires at him.
Yeah, but they were baby fires. No,
Brass
he comes
is cooler
back.
anyway.
He comes back. Anyway, so first thing we see is a car crash.
And a dweeb with a briefcase.
Yeah, a guy in a suit limping out of this burning car. And it's like one of those metal briefcases as well, so you know whatever's in there means business.
Right.
This isn't just his financial reports.
What if it was? They got the wrong guy.
That would be quite a twist.
He just really likes the look of a metal briefcase.
No, there's a bunch of guys. He collapses on the ground and then a bunch of guys in funny jumpsuits with antennae on their heads.
A bunch of cultists creep out of the darkness.
Yeah. And they wrestle the case from him. And there's a rare medal inside the case. And they end every sentence with Robo.
間違いない。確かにレアメダルだロボ。素晴らしいロボ。
We don't have time to figure out what that means until Tuxedo Mask shows up.
Right. Yes. They're confronted by a masked man in a top hat and cloak who introduces himself as the Phantom Thief Retort, the Medal Hunter of Love. Fucking, I love this guy.
Me too. What a loser.
He's so good. Because he's presented at the beginning here as very competent.
And then immediately he loses the medal and splashes into the river.
Yeah. So he gets the medal. He throws a bunch of like his own little medals that will have, I guess, his logo on them. And then he escapes on a zip line to seemingly escaping on a balloon. And they give chase in their cars. And then we find out as the camera pans down that the balloon was a decoy and the real retort is dangling under the bridge from a rope. But yeah, then at this point we still think he's really cool, but then he just like fumbles the medal and then his rope breaks and he falls in the river.
And it's such a slow fall. It's such a good scene.
It's really good. I loved it. Phantom Thief Retort is played by Ryo Naito, who we know as Gaster in the Parappa the Rapper anime.
Oh no.
I know, we didn't like Gaster, but I love this guy.
Gaster is just a weird character.
Yeah, he just fell out of place in Parappa the Rapper, I think.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with his voice actor.
No. In English, this character has been renamed to the Phantom Renegade, which I don't think is as good.
No.
And he's played by Jamie Watson, who is known for playing Quack in Peep and the Big Wide World, Lokar in Redakai, and a troublesome truck in Thomas and Friends. I'm going to be real with you. Most of the English actors for this show are real big in the Canadian animation scene.
Okay.
And I know, like, no Canadian animated shows. So I don't know what most of them are, I'm afraid.
I think this is the first I'm learning that Canada has made animated shows.
There's a ton of them. There's some Canadian animated shows that I'm familiar with, but Canada makes a lot of animated shows. Like, it's shocking how much animation comes out of Canada.
I'm not actually surprised. America's like, what is this? Nice, cute little animation you got, Canada, but keep it to yourself.
I mean, we end up with some of them. I think Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog was made in Canada. And we looked at that. There's a couple others we've looked at, I'm sure, that were Canadian. But yeah, there's just a lot of like lesser known YTV shows that I'm sure people in Canada are like, Peep in the Big Wide World. Everybody knows that show, but I'm sorry, I just never heard of it.
Right.
I think Braceface was Canadian.
I remember her.
I think, what else? I don't know. I don't know.
You did it.
Now we go to a school where class has just ended. We can tell from the class has ended sound that plays. If you've watched enough anime, you know that noise. And all the kids are running to the playground because there's a Robattle about to start.
There's a schoolyard fight.
Yeah, that's basically what this is.
With an umpire.
A referee, yeah. Yeah, the one kid who isn't running towards the playground is Arika, who is running the opposite way looking for her friend Iki. Arika, her name is Arika Amazake, and she is played by Eri Sendai, who is best known for her work in the Pretty Cure series, where she played Shiho, Kubota, and Milky Rose.
Milky Rose.
In the English version, she's been renamed Erica, which is a very small change. They just changed the vowel at the beginning.
Yeah.
And she was played by Lisa Yamanaka, who played Isabel in the Baba series. See, that's a Canadian cartoon I know. She was also Wanda Lee in the Magic School Bus. I know that one too.
Oh, me too.
She played Sherry in the original version of Resident Evil 2.
Oh, okay.
But not in any other sequels or remakes.
Yeah, that checks out.
So we see the playground where a huge crowd has gathered. This is a like, I've seen schoolyard fights before. I've never seen a crowd this big gather for one.
Well, yeah, because that was just two children punching each other. This is fighting battle robots.
Yeah, and we saw all the kids in the classroom watching out the window as well.
And also, the best character in this show, Mr. Uruchi.
Yes, Mr. Uruchi is pretty good.
My thoughts are consumed with him. He's so good.
We'll get to him, but first, we got to talk about a whole bunch of characters.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So, there's a member of a gang called the Screws challenging the student council president for use of the student council room. We have the cat-type Medarot, Peppercat, and the Bok-type Medarot, Dr. Study.
Dr. Study!
Apparently, Dr. Study is known as Dr. Bok Choy in the English version.
Why Bok Choy?
I don't know. What a choice.
It does make sense for why he's the Bok-type Medarot.
Yeah. Peppercat is one of the, I think, 2 robots from this show that were introduced in Medarot 2, but Dr. Study's been around since the original game. And then we have the Screws members, Kikuhime, Iwanoi, and Kagamiyama.
Good job.
Who are known in English as Samantha, Spike, and Sloane. I think that's mostly what I'll be calling them because they're easier for me to remember. Kikuhime is played by Masami Suzuki, who is known for playing Kai in Samurai Warriors, Bei in Dragon Ball, Aisa, Ichika, and Charlotte Cinnamon, and a few others in One Piece. She was Haru and Renamon in Digimon Survive, and she played Julian in Rune Factory 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wrote that one down just for you.
I know you did.
Samantha, in the English version, is played by Susan Laney Dalton, who played Queen and Raymond in Beyblade. Real Rachel in American Psycho 2? I didn't know there was an American Psycho 2.
It's one of the worst movies I have ever watched.
Okay.
It's a complete tone shift from American Psycho. It has nothing to do with American Psycho.
All right. So do you know who Real Rachel is?
I cannot quite remember.
Okay.
I've watched it once and it was a poor decision.
Yeah, I did see that it only had 3 stars on IMDb. She also played Ingrid in Sex, Love, and Salsa.
Cool.
I would like to know if that is salsa as in a dipping sauce or salsa as in a dance. I want
I
it to be
choose
the
to believe
former.
it's the dipping sauce.
Yes, but my fear that it would turn out to be a movie about sexy dancing made me not look further into it. I'm choosing to believe that it's about having sex in a dip.
In a kiddie pool full of salsa.
And then we have Iwanoi, who is the most vocal of her two minions, I think. He's played by Shigenori Yamazaki, known for playing Dominic in Eureka 7, Chirami in Kamen Rider Giats, and Satoshi Horio in Prince of Tennis. Spike, the English equivalent of Iwanoi, is played by Robert Tinkler. This is the English actor that I was the most familiar with when I looked into his work.
Yeah.
He is the voice of Max in the Sam and Max cartoon.
Okay.
He's the current voice of Woodstock in Peanuts stuff.
Okay.
He played Angela Anaconda's dad and her brothers.
Oh, that show.
I know. And he also played Grumpy Bear in 2 of the Care Bears movies in the 2000s. So, that guy has done characters I'm familiar with. I don't like Angela Anaconda, but I'm familiar with it.
It haunts us. Remember when we found out that they made an Angela Anaconda doll?
Oh my god, I had forgotten, thanks.
You're welcome.
Did just have the photo face plastered on it?
I'm pretty sure the head was like a hard plastic, and then it had
Oh
the
my
soft
God.
body or something. It was
Oh.
horrible. I have to look it up.
I remember when I found out that Angela Anaconda is from the same creator as Pepper Ann, because I love her normal artwork, but then she
here
made Angela
is.
Anaconda.
Why are these photos so tiny? This is a 300 by 300 picture? Oh no, she talks!
Oh my god.
Yeah, she has a hard plastic head and then a soft plush body.
Vintage. Oh yeah. Oh, the memories are flooding back.
I don't know why it cut off the top of her head and won't let you.
Because
See
that's
the rest.
perfect.
That's all you need.
That makes it scarier.
Scarier.
Okay, then we've got the third member of the Screws, Kagamiyama, who is played by Yoshiko Isekai. Wow. Where did he isekai from?
We'll never know.
No, sorry, it's Iseki, not Isekai. And it's a she, not a he. She played Pakunoda in Hunter x Hunter, Sachiko in Zipang, the one that's most relevant to us. She was the voice of Wendy Oldbag in a drama CD, adapting a case from Ace Attorney Investigations 2.
Love it.
She also played Wendy in a trailer for Apollo Justice, apparently.
Okay.
In English, this character's name is Sloan, and he's played by Darren Frost. Again, just a lot of Canadian shows I've never heard of, so I wrote down the ones that had the most episodes. He played Sam in Time Warp Trio, Squirt in Camp Lake Bottom, and Rowdy in Adventures of Chuck and Friends.
Cool.
I don't know any of those, I'm sorry.
Uh-uh.
Irika pushes through the crowd because she's apparently a reporter for the school newspaper, and she wants to get the scoop.
I like a plucky journalist character, but I did find it weird that an elementary school kid would already be that interested in journalism.
As I came from an elementary school where there was a school newspaper, so I'm not too surprised.
Oh, look at you with your school paper.
I drew comics for it a couple times. I don't think any of the people involved, continued that interest into high school.
They weren't passionate journalists chasing scoops.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, that's why she's running around with a camera. She's taking pictures. And here she finds her friend Iki, who is just sitting on the ground in front of the crowd with his arms crossed.
Yeah, he's armchair robattling.
Yeah. It's made pretty clear that he's one of the most passionate people about it who is here. Iki Tenryo is his name. He is played by Michiru Yamazaki, who hasn't really done that much else, but is the voice of Kota in My Hero Academia. In English, Iki actually kept the name, but they pronounce it Icky.
Why?
I don't know. I thought for sure that they would have changed his name because it
sounds like Icky.
Because it sounds too close to Icky. But not only did they keep it, they pronounced it even
embraced
more
it.
like Icky.
We love this icky little boy.
So in English, Icky is played by Samantha Reynolds, who played Henry in Henry's World, and George in Arthur. I know Arthur.
Yeah, I met him.
Who's George?
I don't know.
I think I looked him up, and he was a moose kid. And I didn't write that down.
If it's not Buster, I got nothing.
Yeah, I don't know many Arthur characters. I've only watched so much Arthur. By which I mean so much Arthur. I was never big into Arthur. I liked it, but it's not the kind of thing I would, be changing the channel to watch.
Yeah, I only ever watched a handful of episodes.
Same. I think my siblings were more into Arthur than I was. But yes, now it's time for us to be introduced to Mr. Uruchi, the official referee from the World Medabot Association.
Why is he hanging around at an elementary school?
Yeah, I was very confused that this elementary playground fight had an official referee from the World Medabot Association here. I became less confused about that when he makes his second appearance.
He just seems to be summoned by the spirit of battle.
Yes, that apparently is what happens every episode.
I love it.
Whenever there's a fight, he will appear from somewhere to referee it.
What an incredible character.
Yeah, he is from the games. He was introduced in the first game, and he is the referee of the Robattles.
Good.
He's actually called Mr. Referee in English. But Mr. Uruchi is played by Hiroshi Shimizu, known as playing Chronos Demedis in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and Masahiko Yumeno in Onegai My Melody. My sister would know who that is, but I don't.
Yeah, me neither.
Mr. Referee, played by Dennis Akiyama, who played Malachite in Sailor Moon, Captain Hotaka in Resident Evil Afterlife, which is one of the live-action movies, and Professor Iwatani in Pixels.
I forgot that movie existed.
Hey, if we ever start doing movies, maybe we'll watch it.
No, does that count? That's not video games.
I mean, Pac-Man's in it. Professor Iwatani. So, Professor Iwatani is Dennis Akiyama playing the real-life Iwatani who created Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a professor in real life.
That's the part that really threw me off. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, no. I don't know, man. It's got Pac-Man on the poster. I think Donkey Kong's in it.
But do we want to watch Pixels?
Audience, do you want us to watch Pixels? Let us know.
I briefly entertained the idea a couple weeks ago when I was still watching the dog.
Oh, it's a good thing you didn't.
Why?
Well, because then if we do cover it, you'd end up having to have watched it twice.
That's true. That's true. I just needed something on in the background because I knew he probably wasn't going to let me sit and watch a whole movie. And I was like, this is going to be crap. I don't have to actually watch it.
I don't like Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah.
I've learned this. I didn't realize I didn't like Adam Sandler movies until I was an adult. Because I never really paid close enough attention to them as a kid to realize that I didn't like them.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I don't know that I've ever even seen that many, and I think it's a good life choice.
Yeah, I've only seen a handful. But I don't like any of the ones I've seen. I think I saw one called Bedtime Stories, and I couldn't tell you a thing about it.
I forgot about that one.
Have you seen that one?
No.
I was hoping you might remember something about it.
I just remember seeing commercials for it at the time.
I just remember the cover where it's like a guy with an umbrella and it's raining Skittles. I think my mom rented it and we watched it.
Biggest mistake of her life.
Nah. But I don't think it was good. Anyway. So Mr. Referee explains the rules to us. The first to make their opponent stop moving wins, and the loser has to give the winner one part from their Medabot. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That's clearly how you get Medabot parts in the game.
Right. you tear them off of your dead opponent.
Yeah. I wonder if you, in the game, if you get to choose which part, or if you have to, like, battle the same opponent over and over again until you get the part you want.
Oh my god, like Sonic Battle.
Yeah.
What a nightmare.
I forgot about that aspect of Sonic Battle.
It's like one of the only things I remember, and I don't know why, except it scarred me for life.
I think I just got really lucky in that game, and very early on I got Cream's healing ability and Shadow's Chaos Blast, and I just got through the whole game just doing those two things.
I mean, that's basically how you play that game. You get everything from Shadow except for Cream's healing.
Yeah. Oh, and you want Gamma's standing
explosion
style as
death.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you have his standing style, then every time you die, you explode. So the Robattle begins, and Peppercat immediately takes heavy damage to her left arm, which means that she can't use her light blow move anymore, because her left arm's broken.
Yeah, it goes all dark, like the light's gone off.
Yeah, so I guess that's how it works in the game. If you take out certain parts, they can't use those moves anymore.
That makes sense.
Seems like each part bestows like one ability upon your Medabot.
Right.
Peppercat is played by Mika Ishibashi, who played the Pharaoh and Winged Kuribo. Winged Kuribo in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Oh, I know Kuribo.
And Stampy in Transformers Beast Wars Neo. In English, Peppercat is played by Julie Lemeau, who played Rupert in the Canadian Rupert series. I grew up with Rupert the Bear. I don't know if you know him. He's very British.
Probably not then.
He's a white bear. He's not like a teddy bear. He's got like a realistic bear head on a realistic human body.
Oh, I have no idea who this guy is.
Oh, did you look him up?
I sure did.
Yeah, there was a lot of Rupert stuff around when I was a kid. I actually had his scarf. That was my scarf.
You were Rupert the Bear himself.
Nah, he's a little bit too much of a goody two-shoes to be me. I don't know if there was a Rupert. I feel like all the characters in Rupert were too goody-goody for me.
I mean, if it's a kid's IP, they tend to skew that way, yeah.
There wasn't any ADHD kids in Rupert the Bear. He had a badger friend who was a kind of an idiot, though. Maybe that was me. She also played Bud in Arthur, who apparently is a friend of DW.
Okay.
I don't remember him.
No. I didn't know DW had friends.
No, me neither. I think he was introduced quite late. Because they realized DW didn't have any friends. She played Dumpty in Polka Dot Shorts.
Dumpty.
I remember the theme song of Polka Dot Shorts and nothing else.
Polka dot shorts. Polka dot shorts.
I think my sister watched it. She played Sella in Redwall. Did you had the Redwall books, right?
Yeah, I had a lot of the early ones. I was a big fan of the book series.
Did you ever see the show?
I don't think so.
Okay, I've only seen the show. I didn't know it was books until you told me, actually.
Yeah, I grew up on Redwall.
I grew up on Redwall, but as a TV show. And she also played Funshine in the Care Bears Big Wish movie. Funshine Bear. I don't like Funshine Bear. She's fine. Whatever.
Not so fun to me.
I'm really just in Care Bears for Grumpy Bear. That's always been my hook into Care Bears. So we get some commentary from Iki about the battle. He thinks it's strange that Dr. Study did such a large amount of damage in one hit, since Dr. Study is a fast robot, but it's a pretty weak robot because it's a support Medabot.
Iki is suspicious this whole battle. He just doesn't trust anything that's going on.
I mean, he's right, though. Peppercat's moving unusually fast because the student council president also comments on it. And it's because Kikuhime has taken off most of Peppercat's armor, I think. So that Peppercat's faster, but...
Takes 1 million damage.
Yeah.
She's running that glass cannon build.
Exactly. But then Peppercat, because she's moving so fast, she's able to keep up better with Dr. Study and gets his medal to pop out by using her light jab move, and then it's over.
It was a really quick battle.
Yeah, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, we don't need to spend the whole first episode in a multi-episode battle arc.
No. So the Mr. Referee declares the battle over. The president picks up his broken Medabot and runs away. And Iki's boasting about how he could have won the fight easier in one move.
Iki, who has no Medabot.
Yeah, Kikuhime overhears that and challenges him to a battle. Knowing that he doesn't have a Medabot. That's how we learn this. Everybody's making fun of him for not having a Medabot.
Because everybody in elementary school has a Medabot but him.
Yeah, he gets upset. He says that he's going to get one soon. And Kikuhime says, how soon? And he says, soon means soon. And then we cut to like an above shot where the kids are all just silent. And a narrator explains how devastatingly he just lost this argument. Which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
So the screws leave. And Iki and Arika walk to a convenience store. Well, Arika talks about how weird it is that he's the only kid at school who doesn't have a Medabot.
Yeah, how dare his mother not just buy him one?
Yeah.
She has to instill some work ethic in him.
Yeah, he's been told by his mom that he has to save up his allowance to get his first Medabot. This is how I got my N64.
What if your N64 was a Medabot shaped like an N64?
Then I could fight with it and
You
steal.
plug in a game and that would be the medal?
I could win controllers from other people.
You can win a Rumble pack.
That's the memory pack I needed.
That's the one thing you never got.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever had. We had memory cards, but we didn't have like the memory pack that you could add to the system itself.
Oh no, the memory cards, that was the memory pack. You're thinking of the expansion pack.
That's what I'm thinking of. We never had that one.
I did have that one because it came with Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah. My
And,
cousin had Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah, I got it with Donkey Kong 64, and then I was very glad I did because you also needed it for Majora's Mask.
Well, I never got to play Majora's Mask until I stole it.
You stole it. I got Majora's Mask with, I don't know if it happens there. I think it does. But here, like towards the end of school, they make you do like a work experience assignment.
I never had to do any work.
You basically get a week off school, but you have to like work. You have to get a job somewhere. And usually you don't get paid for it because you're too young to legally be working.
Right.
I did my work experience at a store that my aunt owned. And then after the week was done, it was like, all right, officially we can't pay you anything. So this is a birthday present. And they gave me 50 pounds.
That's nice.
And I bought Majora's Mask on the walk home with it.
You worked hard for your Medabot.
I did. So as they pass this convenience store, he stops and he looks at a tin pet in the window. And the guy inside the store recognizes him and comes outside just to show off some Medabot models to him.
Because Iki is there every day.
Every day, staring wistfully at the Medabots. This store clerk is Hikaru Agata, who was the player character from the first game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
He is played by Ryo Naito, who also played Phantom Thief Retort at the beginning. In English, his name is Henry, and he's played by Jamie Watson, who also played Phantom Renegade at the beginning of the show.
Oh, no. Oh, no. You've spoiled everything.
I felt like it was kind of obvious. But anyway, from what I can tell from having read about it, it sounds like the show never actually reveals, but it just hints at it strongly every now and then.
Right.
I think the game reveals that Hikaru and the Phantom Thief are the same person, but I don't think it's ever actually like... Because I saw people arguing online about whether or not he is, and there were some people who were like, it's so obvious! And I thought it was pretty obvious just in this episode, so... Apparently this isn't even the strongest hints.
I love that the player character becomes a thief.
Yeah, me too. So we get shown a few robots still in their packaging, and they really do look like toys, don't they?
They sure do. Those are action figures.
Yeah, like the same kind of like plastic blister packs that you'd expect when you're buying Super Mario figures at the toy store.
Are they called blister packs because you get blisters trying to open them?
They're called blister packs because they form the plastic around what's inside like a blister.
I like my explanation better.
I think either way is pretty gross. So what we're shown here are the car type. He only refers to them by their type, but I looked up what the English names for them were as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the car type one is called Land Motor, which in the first game, all of them function as normal battle Medabots as well, but Land Motor is also like a vehicle for you. It kind of functions like the bicycle in Pokemon.
Okay.
Except when you're using Land Motor, not only do you go faster, but you also don't get any random battles.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Then there's the BMT type Tankar, which is just basically certain like boy characters will have this tank-looking Medabot when you fight them.
Right.
But it's just kind of a common opponent Medabot.
The youngsters and the lasses.
Yeah, basically. And then the last one is the PLN type Femjet. Femjet gives you the extra function of being able to fast travel. So it basically works like fly in Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
All of these Medabots are from the first game, and all of them are only available in the second game by trading them from the first game.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, that seems to be the case with a lot of the first game's Medabots. It seems like the second game had a lot of new Medabots, and if you want the old ones, you have to trade them in from the first game.
I'm never gonna complete my Metadex in
No.
the one game that they brought to America.
I don't think you can even trade anymore by that point. Iki says that he would buy all three of these if he could, and Hikaru asks him how much money he has. It's clear that he wants to try and cut him a deal, maybe go a little bit
Right.
lower to let him have one. But when Iki whispers how much money he has to him, he's like, okay, that's not enough for me to even make an exception.
I'll lose my shirt if I do that.
Yeah. But then he remembers something, and he runs in the store and he brings out this dusty old Metabee.
Dingleberry bot.
And he's like, I could sell you this one, along with the tin pet that I'm displaying. So the fact that it's Metabee, I think, firmly sets this as an adaptation of the Kabuto version of the game.
Right.
Because in the Kuwagata version, it would be Rokusho instead. But also, the plot isn't directly following the game, because in the game, Iki buys his first Medabot with money that his mom sent him out to buy food for the night.
Oh no, Iki.
It's a real Jack and the Beanstalk situation. I sent you out to get pasta and you came home with a buildable Gundam model?
You can eat the leftover plastic. If you put it in warm water, it might turn into noodles.
He does say that the Medabot doesn't come with a medal, so I guess even if he did buy this, he still wouldn't be able to use it.
Right, he really lucked out by finding that mysterious metal in the river.
Yeah, I would be willing to bet that the medals are the most expensive part
Probably.
of a Medabot. He doesn't buy it because it's too old. The kids just kind of make fun of it and make Hikaru angry. And we're not given too much context, but this was also Hikaru's first Medabot, so I'm willing to bet his anger about it is partially fueled by that.
I would guess it's entirely fueled by that.
I don't think the one that he's offering to sell them is his old one,
No, I don't think that.
because it seems to be still in the plastic and everything, so.
Can you imagine? He just reseals it and sells his partner.
Well, maybe he's taken out the metal and put it in a better robot by now.
I guess.
If that is how it works. So as they're walking home, Arika tells Iki that she wouldn't be seen with him if he had an old Medabot like that. Thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And Brass runs over to greet them. Brass is Arika's Medabot, played by Masami Suzuki, who also played Kikuhime in this. And in English, she's played by Susan Laney Dalton, who played Samantha in this. So
Whoa.
in both languages, those two characters share a voice actor.
Just like Tuxedo Mask and Hikaru.
And Hikaru, yeah, what are the odds?
So suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, these two characters sharing a voice actor doesn't mean they're the same person, so maybe we shouldn't assume that about Hikaru. I don't know.
Yeah, you're jumping to conclusions.
Brass is not the name of this Medabot. This is the only Medabot in this episode who has a name that isn't just the name of that kind of Medabot.
Right.
Because this Medabot is actually called a Sailor Multi.
It is kind of weird that nobody else has named their Medabot.
Yeah, I feel that way about Pokemon all the time as well, though.
True.
Like, imagine if you just called your pet, like you had a dog and you just called it Dog. That's what Ash is doing with all of his Pokemon.
True.
He doesn't name any of them. I think it's bad.
None of them do. And then when he meets somebody, there's like one person in the world who named his Pikachu Sparky.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, the fact that there are a handful of people who've given their Pokemon nicknames. Like, why is that? Why are they the exception?
Right.
Why are they the weirdos?
Ugh, there's that guy who named his Pikachu.
Like, do you remember in the old, like, online trading scene where people would always ask for Pokemon without nicknames?
No.
Oh, yeah, that was a common thing. People would always want to trade through Wonder Trade. Oh, not Wonder Trade, through the GTS. With something. They'd always want something without a nickname. And I never got it. I never understood. It makes more sense now because in the newer games, if you get something without a nickname, you can give it one.
Right.
But back then, I never got it. I wanted something with a nickname.
It's because they didn't want to have a Mr. Mime on their team named Pervert.
I don't know why.
That's exclusively what I want.
I don't have any Pokemon. The only Pokemon I don't give nicknames to are the legendaries.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, I always assume there's only supposed to be one of each of those, so I'm just like, you don't need to nickname it. It's the only one.
And this is Richard.
Mewpoo.
Mr. Whiskers.
What's Mr. Whiskers?
Mewtwo.
Oh, okay.
He's a kitty cat.
The Sailor Multi is the other Medabot in this episode that debuted in the second game.
Oh.
Pepper Cat and Sailor Multi. Those are the ones in this episode that were brand new that fans wouldn't have seen before. So Arika physically assaults Iki for a bit.
Just a little bit. Just stretches his mouth real big.
Until Brass reminds her it's time for her piano lessons. Yeah, why was she attacking him? I can't remember.
Because Iki says that her Medabot is 100 times nicer than her.
Oh, okay.
Because Brass is very polite.
Yeah, Brass is a very cute, sweet little girl robot.
Yeah.
Basically.
In her Seifuku.
Iki kind of stops to sulk for a little bit.
Well, he stops because he is hoping to find loose change in the river to buy a Medabot.
Yeah. And he spots something glistening down there in the sunlight.
He thinks it's a 500 yen coin or something.
But it's not.
It's worse.
It's the Kabuto medal that Retort dropped last night in the river. He's very excited until he remembers that he has no Medabot to put it in.
I would still be pretty excited because all that means you have to save up for is the frame.
Yeah. And the parts.
I mean, whatever. You can buy those separately.
Don't have to get the medal no more. He's halfway there.
Yeah.
Or he's 1/3 of the way there. This is also different from how it went down in the game, from what I can tell. Because in the game, the Phantom Thief gives the medal to Iki's dad to give to his son. But I don't know why.
You'll just have to play the game to find out.
I want
Better
to.
get learning Japanese.
Oh, I wonder if there's got to be a fan translation of it, right?
By now you would think so.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm going to have to look into it. Are you looking into it right now?
Yeah.
I heard you tippy-tapping.
You don't know.
I don't know, that's why I asked.
Original Medarot game receives English fan translation, but what about Medarot 2?
Yeah, Medabot 2's the one that this is based on. How old was that?
2020.
Wow. Took him that long.
Originally teased on this site back in 2015.
Oh, wow.
The fan effort to translate the first entry in the franchise has finally reached a playable state.
Okay, interesting. Well, I can play the first one at least.
It says there's the official English Game Boy Advance remake of Medabot 2.
Oh, okay.
So that's the one we got?
No, we got Medabot 6.
Okay.
Which was a Game Boy Advance one, but it's not that one.
Okay.
That's a different one.
No, because it looks like it exists in English.
Really?
Yeah, Medabots, Medabee, and Rokusho.
Yeah, that's
It is a remake of the Japan exclusive title Medabot 2, which was released for the Game Boy Color. It was released on the Game Boy Advance.
Hang on. Let me look at the list of games again, because I swear they listed the remakes separately. Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, okay. So the one we got was a remake of Medabot 2. I'm the one who's wrong. It wasn't the sixth game. The sixth game was the DS one.
Okay.
Okay, so the only main series game we got was the Game Boy Advance remake of Medabot 2. It looks like there actually wasn't a main series game for the Game Boy Advance. Just
Well, I'm glad I've humbled you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Nice to have you do some of the research for once.
I just did all of the research. Thank you very much.
Okay. There's 3 spin-offs for the Game Boy Advance. So one of those is that one that was only international. And then there's a GameCube one, which is the other thing that we got.
So now we can play it.
Now we can play it. Only this one. I'm going to play it now.
Should be easy enough. It's a Game Boy Advance game.
Where were we?
Iki has found the rare metal in the river.
Oh, yeah, okay. So that night, he's trying to convince his mom to buy him a Medabot while she's cooking dinner. And his dog is there sniffing at the metal.
I love his dog.
Me too. His name is Salty.
What a goofy-looking dog.
It's really good. It's a very good dog. I want it.
I mean, all dogs are very good dogs.
That's true. There's a report on the news about Medabot hunts. People using Robattles to steal Medabot parts. But I kind of thought that was a sanctioned part of the whole thing.
Right. I'm going to guess from context that the issue comes in the fact that it's 3 against 1,
Right.
and they're just beating up on robots to steal their parts.
Yeah, they're not waiting for Mr. Referee to show up. So his mom says that if he had a Medabot, he'd be a target of those people. But I wonder if that's part of the reason that his parents haven't bought him one.
I don't know. I feel like they just want him to actually work for it.
Yeah, that too. He's not worried about it anyway. He thinks he would just beat them in a fight anyway.
Yeah.
Iki's mom is played by Masami Suzuki, who is also playing Kikuhime and Brass.
Uh-oh.
And in English, she's played by Julie Lemo, who's also playing Brass and Peppercat.
Uh-oh.
So Brass is all these people. What does it mean?
The conspiracy deepens.
And meanwhile, we see that Spike is coming out of a convenience store with his Medabot, Cyan Dog.
Cyan Dog.
Yeah, what a good name.
I mean, they're all pretty good names.
Yeah, Cyan Dog apparently in the original game was part of a trio along with Magenta Cat and Yellow Turtle.
Turtle.
Yeah, I think it was Yellow Turtle. Magenta Cat was replaced by Pepper Cat in the second game. And Cyan Dog was replaced by another dog as well, but we get the original here, the OG.
Before they get accosted by some street punks.
Yeah. Cyan Dog is another one of those ones where you can have him in the second game, but only if you trade him in from the first one.
Right.
That's basically the case for all of the original game Medabots here, except for Metabee. But yeah, they get accosted by a trio of glamrock musicians.
I love them. They're ridiculous.
Yeah, I love them too. 2 guitarists and a triangle player.
It took a second to sink in that he only plays the triangle.
Yeah, I hope they're in more episodes than just this one, because I thought they were great.
They probably won't be, but I hope to.
Really good designs as well.
Yes.
They were just like fun to look at. So we see them challenge him to a battle, and then that's where the ad break happens. We don't actually see the battle. Now, when we return from the commercials, we're in the student council room, which is now the Screws headquarters.
As rightfully bartered for.
And Spike is telling the rest of the gang about how he was attacked by the Medabot hunters. 3 adults, he says, attacked him 3-on-1, calling it a handicap match. And when he starts crying about it, Samantha promises to avenge him. And Arika's outside listening so that she can get the scoop. This is where it really kind of hit me how good this show is at its female characters. At least in this episode. I hope it will continue this way.
What do you mean?
Well, we've got 2 girls here, and neither of them feel like the girl, you know?
Yeah.
But one of them is the leader of a hoodlum gang. And the other one is an investigative journalist.
They're both sort of aggressive.
Yeah. We don't have... Because I feel like, especially in this period, we've watched a lot of anime from like the 90s and 2000s that really didn't treat its female characters very well. And this one's good. I like what they're doing with this one.
Yeah.
I like both of these girls. And apparently, when I was reading about the studio... Apparently they were quite well known for doing strong female characters, and they actually have like a really strong following in the Yuri community for a lot of the relationships that their shows had.
Okay, that's a strong endorsement.
Yeah. So Iki happens across Arika listening at the door, asks what's up.
She's scoop snooping.
And that's when the Screws all leave to go look for this other gang. And Arika gives chase. And I love how Iki is just like, okay, good luck. And then she runs back and drags him along with her.
Yeah.
He's not interested.
No, if it's not a Medabot, he doesn't care.
So Spike takes his gang to where he got attacked. And Arika, Iki, and Brass are watching from a corner where there's a guy selling chicks.
Yeah.
I thought this was just like nice background animation world building stuff, but he actually turns out is important to the episode later on.
I loved it. I love that they brought him back.
Me too. Also, did you notice that during this whole sequence, Brass has like a microphone sticking out of her body?
Yes.
That I liked that too. That shows how she's like useful to her owner. The Screws wander around a bit looking for people, and they find the guys, but Spike says it wasn't them because they're not in their glamrock costumes anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't recognize them without their get-ups.
Yeah, but they recognize him.
Well, yeah, they beat him up.
I know, but I just thought, I guess like going into this scene, I was just like, wouldn't they want to like lay low and like not admit that it was them?
No, because they're incredible characters, and they get up and they stand in front of them and apply their makeup and outfits just to let them know, yes, it was us.
It's really, because like when they see him and they call out and they're like, oh, hey, it's that guy. I was like, they're kind of being friendly. You know, they're like, that's that guy we stole from yesterday. Oh, hey.
They're not evil. They're just a little rotten.
And then when he doesn't recognize them, yeah, they get all their equipment. We see them like opening up all the makeup and getting the hairspray out and stuff and applying it all.
And the Screws are just watching for like 20 seconds.
Yeah, it goes on for a while and it just makes it funnier. And then it's them, and then Spike recognizes them.
Finally.
Kikuhime squares up to them.
And immediately changes sides.
Well, yeah, I love, like, we get this drawn-out thing where Arika's, like, commenting on how amazing she is because she won't back down even against adults, and that's why she's the leader of the Screws. But then she just, like, drops to her knees and asks the other gang to take her as an apprentice.
Because she only picks fights she knows she can win.
Yeah, and she always wants to be on the winning side.
Yep.
And that's why she's the leader of the Screws. But Arika reveals herself in the bushes because she wants to yell at Kikuhime for this. And then one of the gang takes Arika's camera. Brass runs out of the bushes to help, but she gets blocked off by 2 DVL-type Medabots.
Devil!
They're called Blackmail. They're both the same.
They both look like Houndoom, and I would have 50 of them.
Yeah, their name was changed to Black Ram in English. I guess they didn't want to say Blackmail.
Why?
I don't know. I think Blackmail is a cooler name.
Yeah.
This is another Medabot from the original game, which again, you can only get in the second game if you trade it in.
Rude.
Apparently, Blackmail's head part has the highest attack power in the whole first game,
Huh.
but it can only be used once per battle.
Interesting.
And then the leader of the Glamrockers has the PHX type, Hell Phoenix.
Yeah.
You could probably guess how they changed this one's name in English.
Heck Phoenix.
No, just Phoenix. Heck Phoenix would have been better.
Yeah, would've.
That would have made me
I
laugh.
love when people say heck instead of hell.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, again, same as Blackmail. This one was only in the first game unless you trade it to the second one. So the gang challenges Arika to a battle over her robot. Like, apart from the fact that they all want to fight at once, they're following the rules.
Yeah? I told you they're not evil. They're just little stinkers.
Yeah. Iki tries to defend her, but when the gang finds out he doesn't have a Medabot, they just kind of laugh at him.
They blast him with a guitar and dingle the triangle at him.
The dingle in the triangle part really made me laugh. He runs away. He runs away to look for an adult to come and help Arika.
Need a bigger adult to beat up these adults.
He gets stopped by the chick selling guy.
To dispense sage wisdom.
I know, it's really funny because he gives him this whole spiel about like standing up for what you believe in, having like a burning spirit and a gentle heart. And we realize at the end of his sales pitch that that's what it is. It's a sales pitch.
Yep.
He's just trying to get Iki to buy a chick. But when he like holds the chick up, Iki has already gone because he's taken a different message.
Right, he got what he needed from that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a chick.
It wasn't a chick. He was inspired by the message to go home, grab his piggy bank, and then run to the store and buy the Medabot. The chick seller, by the way, is a character from the first game, where towards the end of the game, it's revealed that he was a secret agent hunting the villains all along, and he arrests them.
Pretty good.
He is played by Masanori Tomita, who didn't have a whole lot of voice roles, but he also plays Iki's dad later in this series. And in English, he's played by Martin Villafana, who played Myron in Wayside and Quincy in My Dad the Rockstar. Canadian things that I don't know about.
Nope.
When Iki gets to the store, he just kind of like throws his piggy bank on the counter and says he needs that robot from yesterday.
Hikaru understands.
Yeah, he just understands that something serious is happening and he needs help right now.
Mm-hmm.
So he just gives it without asking any questions. I like Hikaru.
Me too. But I guess if he was the former protagonist, he knows all about this sort of thing.
Yeah. So he sells Iki the Medabot, gives him a quick explainer on how to put it together, and helps him do it. He also gives him a Medarotch on the house.
Yeah, he never mentioned that they would also have to buy the watch separately.
I don't think they need the watch. I think it's just a convenience thing.
Okay.
Because it seems like the only thing the watch does is summon your Medabot from like wherever it is to where you are.
I don't know that that's true, because when we watched the battle in the beginning, they were giving commands into their watches.
Are they? I thought that Iki was the only one who had one. Maybe
no,
I'm wrong.
I'm pretty sure Kikuhime has one, and she was speaking into the watch to tell Peppercat what to do.
Oh, okay. I don't think Arika has one.
Maybe because she doesn't battle with brass?
Maybe. But yeah, this watch will let him... He puts the metal in the watch, and then he can call Metabee to his side whenever he needs it. Which is quite quite a jump in the technology that it seemed like they had until now.
Right.
Suddenly we're introducing teleportation. Because even when Hikaru explains it here, I took it as Metabee will run to him.
Right.
But no, he teleports.
He opens up a seam in space-time and walks through it.
Yeah. It's wild. As Iki puts the rare medal that he found into his watch, Hikaru spots it and is like, wait a minute! And that is our first hint that this is probably the same guy as the thief from earlier.
Don't even.
No, you don't buy it.
No, there's no chance.
Yeah, he calls out to him, but Iki's gone.
I mean, what's he gonna do? Take it back?
I don't know what he's gonna do. Meanwhile, the gang are still just kind of shouting at Arika.
Yeah, dingling that triangle.
Like, how long has this been going on?
Yeah, because he had to completely assemble a Medabot.
He went home, then he went to a store and bought a robot, then he put the robot together. And things down here haven't progressed at all in any of that time.
No.
I don't buy it.
This show is unrealistic.
Yeah, never mind the teleportation thing. This is the part where it loses me. So the gang is still kind of advancing on Arika, who's still refusing to fight. I assume because Brass is not a fighter.
I assume it's because Brass is not a fighter and it would be 3 against 1.
That too, but I mean, it's going to be 3 against 1 either way.
I guess.
Everyone kind of laughs at Iki's old Medabot when it shows up, but he thinks that his fighting spirit is more important.
Yeah, he believes in the heart of the cards.
Yeah. And this is where Mr. Uruchi, Mr. Referee, shows up again. He just appears atop a building.
Incredible.
And announces that he's there to judge the match. Climbs down a ladder, which breaks.
It's a very good descent.
Yeah.
He's a very good character.
He's
I
great.
laughed out loud.
Yeah, he's really good. Iki puts the medal in Metabee, but nothing happens. And Metabee just kind of gets kicked around by the gang's robots for a bit.
This part was definitely reading Pokemon.
Yeah. Iki doesn't know what's wrong. Eventually, he gets mad and calls his Medabot a piece of junk. At which point, Metabee suddenly wakes up and just kind of obliterates all 3 of the other Medabots.
Right. Destroys them.
Yeah, with like no issue.
And this is after he's already been lit on fire and kicked around.
Yeah, I think those were just like tickles to him. He's got this overpowered robot. So the gang surrenders, and Iki gets declared the winner. Kikuhime immediately switches sides again.
Mm-hmm.
Now
as is her wont.
Now that he's the winner. Hikaru's watching from nearby, pondering about the strength of the rare medal.
Mm-hmm.
And Iki thinks that he's the hero, but Arika is just mad at him.
For leaving her.
Yeah, because he ran away. I was thinking it at the time. He doesn't like say anything to her. He just runs away.
Right. She doesn't know what's going on.
No.
She gets into a fight and her one and only friend abandons her.
Yeah. He points out that he came back and saved her, but she's like, well, you didn't do that. Metabee did that. And then Iki tries to argue that he was the one operating Metabee, but then Metabee approaches from behind and is just like, did you call me a piece of junk?
Right.
Hey, listen, I woke up in the middle of a fight there, so I don't know exactly what was going on, but are you the one who called me a piece of junk?
I feel like I was stirred awake by somebody being an antagonistic little turd. Was that you?
Metabee is played by Junko Takeuchi, who we know as the voice of Gomamon in Digimon.
Which one is that?
Gomamon is the little kind of like aquatic one that's Joe's partner.
Okay.
He was one of my favorites. He's the sassy one. She was also the voice of Naruto.
Oh, less important.
Yeah, but probably better known. In English, Metabee is played by Joe Motiki, who played Pedro in the Hotel Transylvania TV show that I didn't know existed.
No.
And Rocky Canyon in Rescue Heroes. and Ryan in Total Drama Island. Total Drama Island is one of those shows that I've heard of a bunch. I don't know anything about it.
I think I watched a handful of episodes when it was airing, but I was like a little too old to be in that demographic. I'm like, this is so stupid.
What is it? Is that the show where it's like a faux survivor type reality show?
Yeah.
All right, okay. I've never seen it, but I think I know what it is at least. So yeah, Hikaru watches Metabee attack Iki for calling him a piece of junk.
Just like Pikachu.
And he's like, oh, maybe it was a defective unit after all.
But he blasted 3 robots into space.
He did, and then he blasted his owner.
Yeah, well, he deserved it.
I do like this. I like Metabee being this, like, I'm assuming he's going to be like a disobedient
Pikachu?
Yeah, kind of like Pikachu, but a bit more. Because Pikachu, I feel like Pikachu's thing was just like, he just wanted to be left alone. He would have been happy just like relaxing.
Yeah.
Where Metabee feels like he's maybe, especially based on what we saw in the animation over the opening theme, I feel like the problem with Metabee is going to be more that like Metabee's a bit kind of brash and overconfident.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I want to watch more.
I think Iki has to earn his trust. He doesn't feel worthy of him.
Oh, you know what? I'm thinking Metabee is going to be more like Charizard. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming, but we'll see. We'll see. I definitely want to watch more of this. This was good.
Yeah. I had a good time watching this.
Yeah. At the end of the show, we get a screen giving a rundown of all the acquired parts this episode.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, so I guess Iki acquired the death bomb from the gang. That's the part that they had stolen from Spike.
Right.
But then the death bomb is crossed out and it has a note saying that it was traded back to Spike to make him stop crying. So Iki does not have the death bomb.
No. He had to shut him up.
I'm unclear about the other one. So it shows the Bok 2 point radar, which is what Kikuhime won from beating Dr. Study. But it's not clear whether that's just telling us what she got as well, or whether it's saying that is what they traded to get the death bomb back.
I don't know.
I'm not sure whether they just gave back the death bomb or whether
They traded.
Since
it does say traded.
Yeah, it does say traded, so I'm not sure. Unclear. I guess maybe we'll find out next episode.
Maybe we will.
What did you think of the credits song?
It was good.
It became cute, but the beginning is just like wacky wild.
That's kind of how I felt about it. Like, it started, I'm like, I don't know about this, but by the end, it was stuck in my head.
Yeah, it has a few seconds at the beginning where I'm like, is this music? But then it turns into something cute. I liked the art over it as well.
Yeah.
Very cute, kind of childlike drawings. So that was it. That was the end of the first episode of Medabot.
We get a little taste of the next one where we see the return of the screws.
That's true. I definitely want to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, really liked this show. I know we've talked a lot on other episodes about how difficult it is to have a good first episode.
Yeah.
This one did it.
It sure did.
This pulled it off. This episode has a really nice balance of explaining the world to us, but also giving us a satisfying story to follow.
Yeah.
I wasn't confused about who any of the characters were. They were all, like, introduced really well.
The concepts were introduced, the characters were introduced, the comedy was on point.
I know I always give Pokemon as my, gold standard for how to do a good first episode. I actually think this one might have done it better.
Really?
Yeah, because Pokemon, although it does it all really well, it's still very divided into Act 1 is introducing concepts and Act 2 is the story.
Yeah.
Whereas this did it in a way that was very evenly spread throughout the whole episode on both fronts.
Yeah.
Which I thought was maybe better than how Pokemon did it.
You bring up a valid point.
Thank you. I made it myself. You know what we have to talk about now?
The dub?
The dub.
You don't sound excited about that.
Oh, I don't like the theme song. Let's play it.
Medabots! Go get your friends. It's time to battle. More Robattle. Till you drop. More Medabots. Don't lose control. It's time to make it to the top. More power. Metaforce. Metaparts. Metafighters. Medabot. 22nd century. It's time to battle. Yeah, Robattle. Medabots.
This dub was by Nelvana. We've talked about Nelvana before. Do you want to take a guess at what show it was?
No.
Hey yo.
No! No!
Yes, Nelvana co-produced the Donkey Kong Country cartoon. They were the English-speaking half of the development of Donkey Kong Country. Because the rest of the show was done in France at Media Lab. Nelvana wrote it and handled the English voice acting.
And fixed all the problems.
Fixed a lot of the problems, but not all of them. This show aired on the Fox Network's Fox Kids block. Did you ever watch Fox Kids? Did you have the Fox Network?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that was one of the ones that everybody got.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. Fox Kids over here was on cable and satellite, but I think it was a whole channel rather than just a block.
Right.
I'm not sure, though. I was never clear because I never had it. It first aired on September 1st, 2001, so that's like 2 years after the Japanese version came out.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, it was the highest rated new show in the block for that year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, is the translation pretty decent then? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Well, first of all, they split the show into 2 seasons for the American broadcast, which is pretty standard. Because, you know, this is a 52-episode show. There are very few shows that have that many episodes in a season in America.
Right.
So it's been split into 2 seasons, but the order of the episodes has been heavily altered in some places.
Oh, no.
For example, the Japanese episode 6 was the American episode 27.
Why?
And the Japanese episode 8 is the American episode 32.
Why?
Apparently they did this with card captors as well, and a few other anime that they translated. It was pretty common, from what I was reading online, for Nelvana to remove any episodes that they didn't think were significant to the plot and move them to the end of the season. But that usually caused a whole bunch of continuity issues.
No. Why would that be?
It's the trouble when you try and shuffle around the episode order of a show that has a running plot.
Right. Of a serialized show?
Yeah. All the music has been changed. It's one of those dubs. Kind of expect
Cool.
that for dubs of a certain era. At the very beginning, you know that like gang of jumpsuit guys?
Yes.
They actually still end all their sentences with Robo, which really surprised me.
Indeed, Robo. I've never seen one like it.
It's beautiful, Robo.
Yeah, that's
not the kind of thing they
tick
usually
that
retain.
doesn't really translate. Yeah.
The Phantom Renegade has a much more evil sounding voice in English.
Okay.
He's got this like deep, gravelly, voice, whereas in the Japanese version, he was just kind of a gentleman thief.
Yeah, he's a very serious threat.
人呼んで愛のメダルハンター怪盗レトルト
They call me the Phantom Renegade, world-renowned thief.
Definitely implies that he's a bad guy in the way that he's been acted.
He did a steal. He did a thief.
He did a thief, but he thieved it from thieves, so...
Listen, that's too much morality. We only go one layer deep on this show.
Fair enough. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, they pronounce Iki's voice Icky. Very clearly Icky.
Icky? Icky? Sorry, Eureka. Icky's not here.
One of the changes that will have taken the most work is that in the Japanese version, you know, whenever a new Medabot appears, its name and type is displayed just as a subtitle on the screen.
Yes.
In the English version, they've actually made this like graphic text box for the name of the robot. They've also made up a serial number just for the dub. I don't know, you know, instead of saying the robot's type, it will have the same 3 letters from the type and then like a random number code afterwards.
I don't hate that.
I don't hate it. It doesn't mean anything though.
No, just kind of makes it feel more like a toy.
Yeah. Then, after that, a brand new statistics screen appears. Like a whole screen where there's a picture of the Medabot. It'll say the name of it, and there's like a medal that appears that says the name of the Medabot's owner and the name of the Medabot's special attack.
Mm-hmm.
And a robotic narrator describes the Medabot at the same time.
Peppercat, specialty, electric shock attack.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
Digimon had screens like that every time a new Digimon appeared, but they weren't exclusive to the dub. They were in the Japanese version as well. So it does feel like this is Medabots trying to emulate Digimon, but, you know, I am impressed with how much work they put into it.
Yeah.
You know, when Samantha gets mad at Spike for calling her boss, she punches him.
Yes.
That's cut.
What?
She doesn't punch him no more, but in the next shot, his face is still swollen.
A bee stung him at just the right time.
There's a lot of talk in the episode about these being specifically submission Robattles. In the Japanese version, I don't remember them mentioning types of Robattle at all.
No.
But pretty much every Robattle that happens in the English version, somebody will be like, this is a submission Robattle, by the way.
Today's Robattle has been declared a submission match.
But it's gotta be a submission Robattle.
What does that even mean?
I think it means it's like to the end. It's like until the robot can't fight anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe there's also like timed battles. I don't know.
Maybe?
In the English version, Iki, when he's talking about like bok choy, you know how in the Japanese version, when he's talking about Dr. Study, he says that it's just a support Medabot.
Yeah.
In the English version, he specifically says that Dr. Bok Choy was built to help with homework.
Okay.
They didn't say that in the Japanese version, but it does kind of stand to reason.
Yeah.
He's called Dr. Study.
It doesn't make a lot of sense in a battle context, but yeah, probably.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense in a battle context, but in the English version, that's kind of Iki's point. He's like, this robot isn't built for fighting. It shouldn't be doing this much damage. The second shot of Samantha hitting her minions for calling her boss is also removed.
Well, how are they ever going to learn?
I know, but this time, instead of cutting it entirely, they replace it with the establishing shot of the school from earlier in the episode. I'm assuming that's so that they can leave in her yelling at them to stop calling her boss. They cut to the school and we hear her, but we don't see her hit them anymore. You know the joke where, you know, when Iki says soon means soon and then it cuts to the distance and the narrator is like, soon means soon is a thing you say when you have really lost an argument or whatever.
Right.
That doesn't play out like that. There's no narrator. Instead, Samantha just keeps making fun of him over that shot.
That's not as funny.
It's not as funny. It's fine. I did like how in the original, him saying soon means soon was just like met with silence from everybody and then they just leave. Hikaru's name is Henry now, but his name tag still says Hikaru in Japanese.
Cool.
So that's the thing. Henry still yells at the kids for laughing at his Kabuto Medabot, but the shot of him getting mad is cut for some reason.
We can't see somebody getting that mad. The kids won't know how to handle it. They're not ready.
I wonder if it was just cut to make time for the, Medabot explainer screens.
I guess that would make sense.
Yeah, because those are new things they've added, so something's got to get cut for it, because the show's still the same length, I think. Brass's voice is completely different. Obviously it's a different actor. But, in the original, she's just very cute. She's got a cute voice.
Mm-hmm.
In the English version, it's a much more robotic voice. I think she is actually the voice that narrates the new stat screens.
Arika-chan! これはイッキさん。いつもアリカちゃんがお世話になってます。
Arika! Hello, Mr. Icky. Thank you for taking care of Miss Arika.
Okay.
But she just sounds like a robot assistant. She sounds like the 90s idea of what a robot assistant would sound like.
Right.
Pre-Siri. On the news, the Japanese text in the background has been replaced with a screenshot of the Glamrock gang.
Good.
It's a screenshot from when they confront Spike, which hasn't happened yet, meaning this is a photo from the future.
Hey, I read that visual novel. Doesn't end well.
Which one is that?
I'm thinking of Chaos Head.
Okay. We gotta do that soon.
Yeah.
This show was weird about what Japanese text they'll replace and what they won't.
Yeah.
Hikaru's badge was left alone, and the cardboard boxes in the alley were left alone. But the text on the news was replaced, and all the text in the shot of the student council room door is changed.
Yeah.
So, originally there was a crooked sign above the door proclaiming it as the Screws' new headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly that the Screws had just put up.
Yes.
In a kind of a ramshackle way. That sign now says student council office?
But it's not anymore.
I know, and the old discarded student council sign that was sitting to the side of the door is illegible.
Okay.
And so are all of the paper signs taped to the door that said go away. So
That's a weird choice.
It ruins the joke.
It does ruin the joke.
Because the visual, the visual comedy of that shot, for anyone who hasn't seen it or who's only seen the dub, the comedy there is that they've taken down the real student council room sign and thrown it to the side, put up this new Screws headquarters sign, and then taped up paper everywhere that's telling people to go away.
Because they've only just commandeered that room.
Yeah, but that's now the crooked sign is the real student council office sign, and all those paper signs are just unexplained.
Just gibberish.
Yeah, a poor choice, Nelvana. You didn't do your job here. That was lazy.
They're too busy making robot cards.
Yeah, I suppose so. With all the work they put into those, for them to just completely fumble this one is a shame.
Yeah.
Most of the conversation between the Glamrock guys and the Screws is cut, which is really sad.
Why?
Yeah, I know. It's one of my favorite gags in the episode, and it's cut from the dub.
Stupid.
The dub cuts directly from the Rockers noticing Spike straight to what was originally the Screws reacting to the wardrobe change. So the actual wardrobe change doesn't happen.
That was one of the best parts.
I know, it's not there in the dub. Doesn't exist.
What a shame.
I know, really sad. They also cut the part where Samantha asks to join the Rockers, and it's
another one of the best parts.
It's the weirdest cut in the episode as well, because we see her fall to her knees, but before she says anything, it abruptly cuts to her telling the Glamrockers that she'll get rid of Iki and Arika.
I can see the headline now. Samantha stands up to Medabot bandits.
Who are those spazoids?
Don't worry, boss. I'll get rid of them.
Oh, so you're with them now?
Which means that it also skips over Arika revealing herself.
Right. They just know that she's been following them this whole time and don't address it until then.
Yeah, I guess so. This cut is so abrupt and nonsensical that it feels like it was done by accident.
Yeah.
It's just a really weird cut.
Oh no, I spilled coffee all over this scene.
Like, I don't know, maybe I found a bad version of the episode that's just missing parts. So if anybody knows if there's an English version out there that does have that part in it, let me know, because it being cut doesn't make any sense to me.
I think they just thought that was what they could get away with, to cut time for all the things that they added.
Maybe.
Because it's not super plot relevant.
I guess, but it's super funny relevant.
It is. I'm just trying to understand. I don't support or condone it.
Yeah. When Iki runs into the store to buy the Medabot, and there's that shot where the narrator tells us that Hikaru understood the seriousness of the situation.
Yeah.
Instead, Henry, Hikaru himself, narrates that part, and he says that he always knew this kid would become a meta fighter.
This kid's been coming here for years. He always said someday he'd be a meta fighter. Looks like today's that day. Which
has a different meaning, and I don't think it's as good.
No, I don't like that as much.
No, me neither. There's dialogue over the transport sequence now. It's not any meaningful dialogue, but in the original, as Metabee teleports in, nobody says anything. Whereas now we have dialogue of like the glamrockers being like,
Medabot? I thought he didn't have a Medabot!
Yeah, well, think again!
not necessary.
Not at all. The scene kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah. Metabee's machine gun sounds are removed. And they aren't really replaced with anything, so it's weirdly quiet when he fires.
That's dumb.
Yeah. When he takes down the blackmail robots, it's just really quiet. I assume they meant to replace them with laser sounds.
Just forgot.
And just forgot to put the laser sounds in, yeah.
Like, whatever, they get it.
Also, Metabee's voice is really deep in English.
That's weird.
I was not ready for it.
No.
I don't know.
He's a little boy robot.
Yeah.
Why is he a man robot?
He sounds completely different. And I'm sure this is the voice, English fans probably grew up with this voice and this is the one they're used to. But for me, having watched the Japanese one first and then watched the English one for the first time.
Correction! You call me a piece of junk! Huh?
When he started screaming during the fight, because he really screams during the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, whoa! Who is this? The item rundown at the end is still there. And again, they've given it a complete overhaul. It's been remade from the ground up to resemble the new stat screens.
Okay.
And it has a narrator now as well.
They put a narrator there, but they remove it from the rest of the show?
I know. I think it was probably a character narrating, but I couldn't tell who it was. Maybe it was Mr. Referee.
Today's winner, Medabee and Peppercat. The Robattle continues next time on Medabots.
It's more specific about who won what part, so it does say that Peppercat was the one who won the point radar, which is just called an arm here.
Okay.
But it's also missing the extra note that the bomb part Metabee one was given back to Spike.
To make him stop crying?
Yeah, so it doesn't... So, in effect, the dub doesn't tell us that they gave Spike's stolen part back to him.
That's dumb.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. I don't know if it's addressed in later episodes, because I feel like also, if they just never mention it again in the dub, you'd be like, well, where did it go? Why don't they have it?
Yeah.
But this also doesn't do anything more to answer our question about whether the point radar was traded for the bomb part. So...
Yeah, because apparently it just didn't go anywhere in the dub.
Yeah, so I don't know. No answers. But that's it. That's all the notes I had about the dub.
What about the legacy?
Oh, you want to know about the legacy?
Craving knowledge.
Well, there's that game I mentioned earlier, Medabots AX.
Right.
The game based on the anime that was only released outside of Japan. But as well, there is a sequel series to this anime.
Yeah?
It's called Medabots Spirits, It was made in 2000, and it has an extra 39 episodes on top of the 52 that this show already had.
Ooh.
But it was made by a different animation studio, and when I was looking around for opinions about it, it seems like fans mostly consider it to be not as good as this show.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
It is a shame.
But I'm not surprised. The show is good. It'd be hard to top.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's about all I got to say about it. I
Wow.
really, really like the Japanese version.
Yeah.
Not really a fan of the English version.
Okay.
I saw a lot of people comparing it to Digimon, and I would agree with that. It feels similar in like how different the dub is compared to the original.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm okay with a dub that's like very different. You know, I like
Sure.
Samurai Pizza Cats a lot.
It just has to be good different.
Yeah, and I think Digimon, I definitely prefer the Japanese version of Digimon, but I don't think the English version is bad. I just think it's a little bit corny sometimes.
Mhm.
But but Digimon at least is pretty funny in places. This show didn't really feel like it was trying to make it funnier. It just made it worse. They just cut all my favorite jokes.
I know.
They didn't put in new jokes that were better. They just cut them.
That's a creative decision I will not endorse.
No, I'm so mad that they cut all the glamrock guys like getting ready. It was my favorite joke in the episode.
Yeah.
And they just cut it. And I want to know whether it was just cut for time or if it was cut out of some like bullshit, puritanical, the same kind of stuff that stopped James's cross-dressing,
What? They're not cross-dressing though. They're just glam rock.
I know, but
Oh, but you still see that there is the number 666 on the side of that guy's head.
oh yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
I missed that. No, I just wondered if they were like, these are men, they shouldn't be using hairspray and makeup.
Oh.
That's what I'm getting at.
The only thing I could think about would be the number of the beast.
But they left that in, huh?
I mean, I didn't watch the dub, but
Oh,
it
right,
wasn't
yeah,
in
you
the
wouldn't know.
transformation sequence.
All right, let me see. Where does it happen? Let me check the dub.
It happens a couple times. The triangle guy, it's on the side of his head, so whenever you see the side of his head, it should have the numbers on it.
Let me check. Also, those three guys, they're never referred to as anything in the Japanese version, but the English version calls them the Rockers. So
Okay.
okay, yeah, the 666 is gone.
No!
They've painted it out. Oh wait, it's there now. Okay, so in any shots where it's distant enough that you can't read it, it's clearly still there.
Okay.
But in any shots that are close up enough that it's readable, they've painted it out.
Cowards.
That's lazy.
Yeah.
Like, paint it out in every shot, or none of them. Make a choice. Yeah, there's multiple shots where you can... it's still readable in this one. I guess it wasn't on a CRT screen.
I guess.
Yeah, they've painted it out anytime it's, like, very clear, but they've left it in other places. All right, interesting choice, Nelvana. We're done, right?
Yeah.
Medabots, everybody watch it.
It's a funny show.
If you've watched the dub before, go watch it in Japanese. It's better. It's funnier.
You'll thank us.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
This has been a long one.
I knew it was going to be a long one. I've got 8 pages of notes.
I know. That's why I was like, I should probably not make plans for after this.
Thank you to Jamie Core and Mark Kelly, our Patreons, over at patreon.com.
Thanks, friends.
If you'd like to join them in having your name read out at the end of the episode, head to patreon.com/Super Breakfast Friends Club, where that's a thing that can happen. If you put money in our box.
We'll scream your name during battle.
Yeah. There's coffee.com/Super Breakfast Friends Club as well. And you can find me on Blue Sky and other places where I announce news about the show. When there's news about the show to announce. I'm Skull Pirate Mike, by the way. I should have said that.
Probably.
Mel's not on the internet.
No, don't look for me. Leave me alone.
Mel's on dial-up.
Yeah, I'm actually at a public library recording this because my home computer's connected to the past.
Mel can only look at 2000s web rings on her computer.
But I can still go to the Space Jam website.
Hey, I'm pretty sure they maintained it still.
I'm sure that they have, but I'm just saying. I'm all upon it.
Yeah.
Looking at Bugs Bunny through Michael Jordan's ear.
You can still go to Flash sites.
Ooh.
You can still play Kid Speedy or Where's the Egg.
I love Where's the Egg. I would absolutely have a dial-up computer dedicated to Where's an Egg.
It's a great game. Go play Where's an Egg. I guess we're done. Bye. Yoshiko Isekai is Yoshiko Iseki.
Good job.
I'm gonna cut out all of my struggling with that name. I really wanted it to be Isekai, but it's not.